Welcome back in. Let's take a look at the Tennessee Titans. Last year, 12-5. They beat some really good teams last year. San Fran, Arizona. They spanked Kansas City. Remember that? 27-3. Everyone was like, what's wrong with the Chiefs? But nobody was giving credit to the Tennessee Titans. They also beat the Bills last year. I think they beat the Bills in back-to-back seasons. They've beaten some really good teams over the past couple of seasons. But you see their win total is nowhere near that 12 mark, right? 9.5. You can get 8.5. To go over 8.5 is juice. To go under 9.5 is juice. I kind of view them as like an 8-win team. Plus 170 to win the AFC South. I think that's a decent shot if you're looking for a team at plus money that could win the division. This is probably one of those teams that could do it at plus 170. 18-1 to win the AFC, and then also 35-1 to win the Super Bowl. Let's transition over to some of their weapons, Tyler. Of course, it's Derrick Henry right up at the top, right? I mean, he's the guy, RB6, ADP 9. He's really fallen down draft boards, though. RB6, I've seen him go in drafts in the second round. When I did that cut line draft for NFFC Best Ball, I saw him go mid-second. I was like, whoa, I was kind of shocked to see that. But then, the guys I was doing the draft with said that had been the trend. So his min pick, NFFC over the last 6 weeks, number 1. People are willing to take him number 1 overall. His max, 17. So 17 would be mid-second round here, kind of in this format. Ryan Tannehill last year finished as quarterback 12. This year he's going as quarterback 24. He does have some rushing upside, but of course he loses A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown is the biggest loss here on this squad, an alpha wide receiver, replaced with Robert Woods, and then Treylon Burks, who, they traded 18th overall pick, right? The Eagles did for A.J. Brown, also a third in there. And then they get Treylon Burks with that draft pick, and they also acquired Robert Woods. Nick Westbrook-Akini showed up at times last year. Just wanted to put him on the board as like wide receiver 97. You're not really thinking about him in your standard 12 or 10 team league with your home buddies. And then Austin Hooper actually could be, interesting, certainly in maybe 2 tight end premiums. I don't think we'll ever get to the point where we're like, roll out Austin Hooper as like your tight end 1 in a league with like 10 of your buddies or 12 of your buddies. Maybe we're thinking about him in DFS, but I think he could be sneaky. I think he goes to a little bit of a better situation from Cleveland to Tennessee. It's still a run-first offense in Tennessee like Cleveland was, but there was a lot of just moving pieces, Harrison Bryant and David Njoku along with Hooper. So really it's kind of just Hooper there in Tennessee. But again, I don't think he's a huge draft target. Look at the neck by neck side by side. Robert Woods, Treylon Burks, wide receiver 45, wide receiver 46, right? You kind of have to make a decision what you want to do. What do you want to go with the young buck who you've never seen in the NFL before in Treylon Burks, so they draft in the first round? Could be a target hog in there. There's some conflicting reports in the offseason, asthma, learning the playbook, things like that. I think he's going to be fine. I think he's a decent target, but personally, I would rather have Robert Woods. Give me the veteran back at this price. I have him ranked inside the top 40. Maybe I am a little bit crazy when it comes to Robert Woods. Of course, he is now 30 years old, and he is coming off a significant knee injury. Last year, he had 45 grabs, 556 yards, and 4 touchdowns in 9 games. It was a much better offense, a pass-happy offense, a better play caller, a better quarterback. But Robert Woods has been really good over the past couple of seasons. 90 grabs in 2020, 90 grabs in 2019, 86 grabs in 2018. When he jumped into the Rams in 2017, he played 11 games. He had 56 grabs. It's kind of where we saw him towards the end of his Buffalo career. He was just like a 50-catch guy. He was on the field, was a really good run blocker. But then we saw a different bit of a role for him. I think he could be the alpha in this offense. I'm into him. I like the price. I think, again, if I had a choice between both of these guys and the cost is the same, give me Robert Woods. We've already seen him on the field running around. The knee looks good. I think that's a positive. Ryan Tannehill has had some issues over the past couple seasons. We'll look back at Ryan Tannehill's season a couple years ago, and that will be the outlier for him. Very accurate. He does have a little bit of a rushing floor. We're not looking at him as a strong candidate to be, a fantasy asset for your quarterback, like a single quarterback lead, no chance. But I think he'll rely on the veteran and Robert Woods. What I do want to say on the way out here is that Derrick Henry, at 24.2 fantasy points per game in a full point setting, that was number 1 in the NFL, ahead of Jonathan Taylor, and he only played 10 games. He played 8 games. He was just shy of 1,000 yards. He had 10 touchdowns. My goodness, this guy, he averaged 27 attempts per game on the ground over a full season. That's 465 attempts. If he falls to RB5, RB6 towards the end of the first round, I think you have yourself a steal. I wouldn't take him in the top 3, but the volume is going to be there. You're getting a bit of a discount because of the broken foot last year. The offense is still going to run through him. He's still an absolute beast. And he's been catching more passes to the backfield, 15, 18, 19. He had 18 last year in 8 games. It doesn't seem like a whole lot, but you go 18 over a full course of the season, that's roughly 25 to 30. Added element for a guy that is going to touch the ball at least 22, 23 times a game on the ground. I think he's a pretty decent value. But the Colts win that division. It's the Colts division. The Titans miss the playoffs.